Material from 2014, The Founders on Earth History Part 1, was released in 2005. Greetings, beloved creators. Today begins a very special series. Most of you reading this message have attended history courses in grammar school, secondary school, and college. I mean, his story. This will be unlike any history course you'll be taken in your so-called traditional earth schools. Today we will look at the true history of your earth. This scribe has written a brief history of earth in his book, but even that is incomplete. We will attempt to outline your planetary history in a broader stroke of the paintbrush. Keep in mind that time and space are illusory in nature, and any portrait of timelines is subject to distortions. The time frames we give here are the rough equivalents to your current 3D timeline. However, as this channel and many others have recently indicated, time can be changed and modified by your own ordinance. Therefore, history is not written in stone, but an ongoing tapestry of events continually being rearranged and rewritten. So, what they mean here may be from the history that repeats itself, or memories of our childhood, or even through reincarnation, when we are located to a timeline whereby coincides with the past of the earth, or the past history of the earth, or the future, whatever. But usually that's what they try to say here, and it's all about the morals that is given for each creation to choose from, which one they want to experiment, whatever. All of time is like an infinitely large fabric, and each thread represents a probable possible reality. The 3D world is a series of threads that are imprinted in the Akashic energy medium. Each event in 3D is an imprint, and this electrical impulse is recorded as having actually happened. Yet, any event that has actually happened can be moved into another timeline, and you, beloveds, can jump from one timeline to another, both individually and collectively. Therefore, if you desire to change history, you can simply select another thread in the fabric and make that your new timeline. In your physics, you call experiment with this idea quantum entanglement. This universe you find yourselves in began about 20 billion years ago as a point of light within the mind of a God, which is a creator, is a creation. God is energy, or is many possibilities. God is like a machine that provides all the tools from which you can create. Okay, so those aliens took chance on that. They see themselves as the first kids on the block prior to us. That's why they have distorted all creation with their own doings and only manipulation of experiences wherever they go. And God is nothing but energy, motion, is the infinite source. It's not a man Venus, not a naughty, boring nun dictating orders. It's not a woman either. Okay? So this point of light was contained with the great point of light, which was contained the great point into infinity. There is an aspect of the Godhead that has always existed and that expands and contracts an infinite number of times. And in order for it to expand and contract, it doesn't have to be it couldn't possibly be a human. It's something else, it's a quark, something like that, which expands and contracts. It's an energy emotion, alright? It's not a man. All of life is continually, all of life is continually expanding and contracting, much like the device you look through with the colored glass, the kaleidoscope. During one of the expansion phases, approximately 4.5 billion years ago, your world you call Earth was formed out of primordial dust and gas. All new formed worlds is mostly hydrogen and a few other gases not containing the kind of life you know. Throughout this physical chemical process, the infinite source in an expansion phase differentiated itself into units of consciousness, which later became known as souls. These original souls, called the founders, they see themselves as semi-gods and archetype of gods, the first, are what we represented to you. We were the original sparks of light that were showered out from the infinite source during this expansion. Our individuality began approximately 1 billion years ago, and we went forth to explore the creation. We found millions of planets in the early stages of development, including your world, which is our galaxy, solar system, and we remained in the form of sparks, although actually to you we look like large blue-white stars. Due to our relatively rarefied level of vibration compared to the vibratory states of these worlds, we were unable to experience life directly on any of these worlds. So you would simply overlight or hover above the atmosphere of these worlds and observe the chemical processes taking place. At some point in the distorted time-space continuum, we decided to embed a tiny part of ourselves into the evolving world in order to experience them more directly. Or invasion. Why don't you say invasion? You're supposed to be there in your place and not come here and poke your big nose and then distort everything there is. Okay? To do this, we created a multitude of energy patterns, precursors to what you call the DNA molecule. You would call these precursors light packets of conscious energy. These light packets were able to descend in vibration down to what you would call the 9 or 10 density. At that point, we were able to integrate configuration of light codes, which you now call DNA keys. These DNA keys were the actual building blocks of life as you know it. We then densify these keys down to what you call 70 density, the first level of the actual DNA codes. As 70 density beings, we were finally able to experience this expanding universe directly as inhabitants of evolving worlds. We scattered our seed throughout the universe. Yeah, of course, come in, staying alive, and then do experiments. Contribute for DNA so as to better fit in and rule everything and control. We scattered our seed throughout the universe, going to many regions of ever-expanding galactic clusters. As the cluster differentiated in 5 individual galaxies, we began the process described above and incarnated into several regions of each galaxy. Your galaxy, the one you call the Milky Way, was seated in several quadrants. Your quadrant began in what you call the Lyra Vega region. It is here that the first 70 density forms were manifested, or humanoids, not exactly humans as we are, but humanoids, another form of aliens humanoids, but not quite humans as we are, through manipulation and permutation the DNA codes. It took us nearly 900 million years to perfect this process. Oh boy, you are slow, huh? And it's only within the last 100 million years that we were able to create life forms and all the densities down to 3D density. Create? Did you really create, or you recreate? You manipulate, which is different. The process of differentiation is difficult for most Earth souls to comprehend. I do not. I understand. You all kind of manipulate, which is different. The best analogy we can give is that of cellular division. Each cell that divides from a parent cell becomes an individual cell in its own right, just as powerful and creative as the parent cell, if not more so. Each 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, or 7D being that fragmented off from our parent selves, our 12 density core, became a sovereign being. There's a video that I explain about this being who were so big, so large and powerful that they couldn't contain in one single universe. So what they did, they split out themselves into 15 multi-dimensional beings, the ones that create all the things, the trouble that we have here. A whole and complete soul entity grew and evolved through time and space. At the same time, each fragment entity becomes aware of its higher aspects, is able to align or connect with those higher aspects. And thereby remember the state of indifferentiated social energy is like. In essence, each fragment of ourselves is intimately connected to our core. Our core is intimately connected to the Godhead, or the infinite source, the indifferentiated infinite source. The process of descending into form is called devolution. An aspect of the Godhead, the eyes. Look at how sure they are the Godhead. They think they are the source. Given that the source cannot be defined, becomes more and more differentiated and extending itself outward into lower and lower densities, actually becoming more and more dense until it reaches the level of simple existence. In other words, a part of ourselves extended outward, all the way to the level of pure elemental oneness or force density. This is the density of what you call non-organic existence, the simplest manifestation of which the hydrogen element. Once hydrogen is imbued with consciousness, the process of evolution begins. Of course, your scientists cannot measure the level of consciousness in force density because it's a minute in comparison to third density. However, your scientists have discovered